Leave Jude at home. That was a headline from Craig Hope published back in November of 2025. Jude Bellingham was coming off of a somewhat mediocre season with Real Madrid following the arrival of Kylian Mbappe. He had an incredible first season at Real Madrid in Carlo Ancelotti's diamond formation, playing at the tip of the diamond behind Vini and Rodrigo, split strikers, but Mbappe's arrival had changed everything. In his first season at Real Madrid, his 23 goals and 11 assists secured the Champions League and the La Liga title in 2024. In that same summer for England at the Euros, he was pretty decent. He showed up. And that's exactly what Jude Bellingham does. He shows up. He shows up for the big moments. He is the epitome of come the hour, come the man. Champions League games, El Clasicos, the last minute of the game in a Euros knockout. That's who Jude Bellingham is. He always delivers. And this era of inevitability is what makes him invaluable to both club and country. But over the last few months, there have been some murmurs regarding Jude Bellingham. People were saying he is disruptive, he has a massive ego, that he is a net negative for the English national team. His club form didn't exactly help change the sentiment because he wasn't exactly banging in goals like he was when he first joined, but he was playing with Kylian Mbappe, who naturally is going to be the last man to have the ball and shoot on goal. Mbappe's arrival meant that Jude played less forward and more centrally. He started dropping deeper to get the ball, linked the defense to the attack, to an extent filling the void that Toni Kroos left. Of course, as players, they could not be more different. But Jude naturally had to play more central midfield than shadow striker, so his output naturally declined. This was also, coincidentally, a turbulent time for the English national team. They had just lost the 2024 Euros, a tournament that Jude once again delivered in, to a Spain national team led by 16-year-old Lamine Yamal. Longtime manager Gareth Southgate then resigned, and then former Chelsea and Bayern Munich manager Thomas Tuchel, who is a German, took over the English national team. I have a video on this on my channel from the time that Tuchel was hired. Go check it out for more context and a deeper dive. But at the time, this appointment kind of made sense. Tuchel is a knockout specialist. He was going to be working with mercurial players in Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham, complete midfielder in Declan Rice, experienced centre-backs in John Stones and Harry Maguire, who never really put a foot wrong for England, and Jordan Pickford, who somehow always steps up a level when he dons the national team colours. The spine was there. All he needed to do was round this team up with the best performing talent out there, which to him meant the best players in the Premier League. And one of the best players in the Premier League this past season was Morgan Rogers, Aston Villa's crown jewel. Rogers had a great season for Villa, contributing to 16 goals, 10 goals, 6 assists, and scoring some ridiculous bangers here and there. Now, these aren't superstar numbers, far from it, but it did earn him a seat on the plane, surprisingly ahead of Morgan Gibbs-White, who had a marginally better season and is, in my opinion, a better fit for the number 10 role. You could argue Phil Foden, for his versatility and international experience, should have been on the plane ahead of Rogers, but this exclusion I kind of understand because Foden never really delivers for England, so I don't really have too many complaints there. But either way, Morgan Rogers was seen as Jude Bellingham's biggest competitor. People went even as far as saying that Jude Bellingham should come off the bench for Rogers. Now, Jude may not always give you a beautiful passing game. He may not dribble past players, he may not be the flashiest and most tidy of players, but when the game needs him, he always steps up. Jude is a big game player, a player that may not have the best game statistically, but will have the moment that matters. So in what world is Morgan Rogers, who is having really his first proper run in the team, his first international tournament, going to be ahead of Jude Bellingham after everything he has shown us? Ian Wright voiced his concerns regarding this situation and the overall treatment of Jude Bellingham, taking a more controversial stance.
Who else and what he done in the World Cup, he's showing people that, you know, I'm here, I'm black, I'm proud, I'm ready to go. All that vibe is something that certain man can't deal with. I don't think they're ready for a black superstar like that who can move like Jude's moving. You know, they can't touch him, like I just said. He goes out there, he performs, he does what he does. He says who else. It's too uppity.
Now, this isn't the first time that this happened. Paul Pogba received the same treatment during the entirety of his Man United career. The English media placed unrealistic expectations on him. His haircuts were criticized, his celebrations were criticized, and he was constantly told to be humble. Marcus Rashford got the same treatment for the entirety of his Man United career. Raheem Sterling during his glory days in Man City was also constantly criticized for everything, even buying his mom a house. On the other end of the spectrum, we have N'Golo Kanté, who also played in the league during this period. He was, on the other hand, treated like an angel. All these stories that we used to hear about how humble he is, and how shy he is, and how low-key he is, how he's so nice. You know, I don't want to go there, right? But you can definitely see the parallels that I'm making here, and it really makes you agree with what Ian Wright said. The English media just aren't ready for a black superstar. And I thank the football gods every day that Jude Bellingham doesn't play in the Premier League. I mean, I just imagine had he joined Liverpool back in 2023, I can imagine the smear campaigns that they would have run against him every single week. There were so many shouts and claims for Rodgers to start ahead of Jude. Some even said that T.H.S should start ahead of Jude, but Thomas Tuchel proved that he had a little bit of common sense, starting Jude Bellingham in every single game to this point, and Jude delivered. 7 games, 7 goal contributions, 6 goals and an assist. And those weren't just tap-ins. He scored goals to change the game states, taking the game by the scruff of the neck. Again, proving who he is on the international stage. It's hard to understand the propaganda that the English media run against him, honestly. This guy never puts a foot wrong for England. When you need him, he's there. Right place, right time. So how do you justify these smear campaigns that they've been running? The truth is, as long as Jude Bellingham has a coach that has at least 2 working brain cells, he's going to start for England, and he's going to deliver. This guy's 23. He has such a long career ahead of him. It seems like he's been around forever, but he's only 23. He has such a long career ahead of him. We're going to have to see how things work on the club level with Real Madrid after Jose Mourinho's arrival, but we're going to have to see how that working relationship is going to be before we make a verdict, but you'd imagine Jude would have that number 10 role locked down. The unfortunate reality of football, and particularly English football, is that there's always going to be a scapegoat. There's always going to be someone that people want to blame. It's been happening for generations. Public and media witch hunts. It's just the nature of the English media. But at this point, after this tournament, saying anything bad about Jude Bellingham, saying all the things that people have been saying about him, the ego, the disruptive personality, all of that, saying these things is just blatantly denying what you see with your own 2 eyes. Is he Lionel Messi? No. But is he on the level of a Bukayo Saka, Marcus Rashford, Anthony Gordon, or literally any other attacker in that team? No. He is closer to the elites than he is to those guys. I mean, I'd even argue that he is part of the elite. He's such a talented Mercurial player that any other national team would have cherished and platformed. But because it's England, and because for some reason they seem to be the most miserable fans on the planet, the most entitled fans on the planet, they treated Jem as if he was a scrub. And this is ultimately why the English national team will always be a step behind the elites, the Argentinas, the Frances, and the Spains of the world. Because there is this sense of entitlement and this arrogance, for a lack of a better word, that they have that seems to just hold them back at every single step of the way. To win tournaments and to do it consistently, you need to be united on all fronts. This seems to be the bane of the English national team, unfortunately. And it's just funny how entitled they are. Like, what basis do you have to be this entitled, to be making these claims, to be publishing headlines like this? I am so happy that Jude showed up for this World Cup with a chip on his shoulder, with a point to prove, and he proved it to everybody, even the English media, that he is unequivocally one of the best players on the planet. Y'all better get used to this, because he's not going to stop anytime soon.